guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joy with Joy's Beauty Jones. Super excited. As you can see, it's been a big week. I got my stand, so I now don't have to hold my phone. I can actually just talk to you guys and use my hands. So that's super exciting. I was thrilled and couldn't wait to film this for you guys. So anyway, today we are going to be talking all about foundation. So as I mentioned to you guys before, this beauty journey is somewhat new for me. So I spent a lot of time, researching different foundations, looking for different things, checking out what was great, what people recommended. And then I went out and bought a whole bunch of foundations. Didn't think about my skin type. Didn't think about, didn't know my true coloring, didn't know really what I was doing. I just saw these beautiful girls and I'm like, oh my gosh, if they think this is great, like, let me run out and grab it without thinking about if they had oily skin or dry skin or combination skin or any of that stuff. So I got a lot of foundations. So I want to actually discuss with you today some tips and tricks I learned about choosing foundations, and I'm also going to show you the foundations I currently have. And as promised, I told you we'd have a Sephora haul. We have a Sephora haul too, and it is all foundations. I have a lot of drugstore foundations. I had like 2 higher end foundations, and then I just got myself some Beige ones. So I'm stoked. So anyway, let's get started. First, let's talk about some tips and tricks that I learned. So the first thing that I did for so many years that was wrong for me. I looked at my body. I said, let me look at my skin. Let me look, and see what color I am. I'm tan or not tan for summer. Let me try to match my foundation to my body. I'd swatch on my hands and things like that. And I always thought I was like light beige. That was like my ride or die, light beige. I was like, yes, light beige. No, I had floating head. I was basically just totally oversaturating my face with pigment and then bronzing, and it was just orange. So when I first went out and bought all these foundations, I mentioned that I'd seen the recommendations. I was light beiging it up. That was wrong. However, my first trick for you, well, is to ask for help. So after I purchased all these foundations from Ulta, realized, I'm going to talk about another tip soon, but, found out some more information about color matching, and I realized that I was a hot mess and didn't have any good colors. Well, I had like, I think 1 or 2 colors that like accidentally actually matched my face. But I went back to Ulta. I talked to their amazing staff, and one of their beauty professionals was able to go around the store with me, find my right shades, color match me, and I walked out with all new foundations, same brand, same formulas, but in my shade. So I could really figure out if they were right for me, because it's hard to figure out if a foundation formula is right for you if the color is completely wrong. So my first tip is ask for help. Ask for help. They have tons of professionals there, and they can definitely help you to find your shade. My second tip, which should have been my first tip, I actually learned from a Sephora video, and it talked about matching your face, finding your right foundation shade. So some of the tricks and tips they recommended was to go to the store with no makeup on, moisturized and primed, because they're going to be the actual components that are going to be on your face before you put your foundation on. So I was like, so I went that night that I went to Ulta, and I went with my face clean, moisturized and primed, and said, please help me. I'm here, fresh face, let's go. And they were great. So for sure do that before you're testing. But you can actually, if you look at your neck and the side of your face, when you're swatching the foundations, you can kind of try right here, and you want to move the foundation down and kind of into your neck. You basically want to make sure it matches between your forehead and your cheek here and your neck. Rather than trying to match your body, because your body's going to be a bunch of different colors. This arm, I guarantee you, is darker than this arm on me because I'm driving and the sun's coming through the window, and so you're going to have a bunch of different skin tones. You want to try to kind of start here and come bring it down to your neck. And you'll see, especially when you get to your neck where there's not a lot of sun, I saw so many colors that I was like, that's really orange or that's really gray. Like, what is my undertone? I thought I was warm toned. And that was the night I found out that I'm actually a neutral skin tone and I'm a pinky neutral. So that was exciting and that makes sense. I am part Native American, so that little bit of redness mixed with my other European heritage, it gives me a little bit of a pink tone, which I love. So that was really good to learn. But yeah, test here and see if it doesn't blend into your neck, it's not really like the right tone, it looks off, it's not the right tone for you. Another great tip I used on Sephora, and we'll kind of get into this with the haul, but they have this great algorithm where if you go and you are able to get shade matched, for instance, I used NARS, and in NARS, I think my shade is like Salzburg. In there, I think it's like a luminous finish. I'll go over to have it here. But I was able to use that one shade that I knew was perfect for me. Like she had matched it. I've never seen a foundation that was exactly my skin tone to that extent. So I used that as my base and then was able to plug that into Sephora's software, and they were able to pop back what the recommendations was, if this is an exact match or if this is the closest they have in this formula to this NARS that I know matches me. And that really eliminates a lot of the guesswork. Foundations, whether you're getting drugstore or high-end or luxury or whatever, they can be expensive, and like you use it every day. So you want it to work for you and you want to get the right kind, not be throwing money away on stuff that's not going to match you. So that was a game changer for me. Oh, another tip I have for you. I have not put this into practice myself, and apologies for my crazy hair. It's still wet from the shower, but another tip is I've heard that Sephora does give free samples. So if there's a foundation that you want to try, it's possible you could go there and ask for a small sample so that you could test it and see if that color's right for you. So that's just another tip that you can use for foundations. So anyway, let's get into my current stash now, and I'll show you guys what I have. Okay, so we talked about this little guy last week for my Shop My Stash. Let me just bring this up so you guys can see it. The Matte and Poreless by the Fit Me line, Maybelline. This is kind of pimp, I'm not gonna lie. It's been like my OG this week. It's been great. I've used it every day. I really got a chance to test this and I love it. I would totally buy this again. The only thing that I don't like about this that I would recommend you look into if you're thinking about this is possibly a pump. This is supposed to be medium to full coverage. I find that I kind of do use like a bit more of this foundation than I use for other foundations. So it's not bothering me too much that it pours out, but it is kind of annoying. So if you want to get this, you can get a pump, or you can just, just ride with it and make it work for you. So I got a chance to test that one. Another one that I actually had a chance to test that I had in the Shop My Stashes, I've started to try to use a foundation and a palette and such for a full week to get a real understanding of how I feel about it. This Milani Conceal and Perfect. Let's get that up close so you guys can see it. Ooh, sorry. So anyway, you get the idea, I think. There we go. But this was also very good. I really enjoyed it. I do still use a concealer with it, but I think the idea is that you don't necessarily have to. I also recently saw that they came out with a concealer recently, and I haven't tried it yet, but that could be fun to pick up the next time I'm at Ulta to see how that works. But I do like this formula a lot. And I'm sorry, for the Maybelline, I think I told you guys last time I'm shade 122. Oh my God, so sorry. 122. For this one, I have the shade 00 Light Natural. I don't believe, I'm so sorry, it's hard to see. But I don't think this shade has a ton of colors in it, so I was a little nervous that it's like the lightest one, and I've always felt like I had a little bit of like a warmer, deeper olive-y skin tone. But this works really well. So I did like these two so far. Oh, and I'm getting so out of order, I apologize. I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about my foundation, how it's kind of evolved. So back in the day, I always used MAC, and it's the MAC Matchmaster SPF 15 Foundation Broad Spectrum. I wore this for so long, and it's very old. I actually just pulled this back out of my like forgotten about makeup this week so that I could go ahead and shoot this video and stuff. But I used this for a long time. I felt like it kind of broke me out. It was so expensive. I wasn't making a lot of money at the time, and I was, you know, going to MAC, and every time I'd run out and picking up more foundation. And I was like, why am I buying this if this is not really like doing a lot for my skin? Mind you, I had a terrible skincare routine back in the day. This is probably a fine product. I haven't tested it since I kind of learned more about makeup. But I was just buying this all the time. This is still almost like a full bottle. In the midst of having this, I decided I wanted to try BB creams. I'd heard, you know, good things about BB creams, and I wanted to kind of explore it and see how that worked. And I did find some BB creams that I really liked. And that would be these guys. So these CoverGirl BB creams. Oh, I'll just try to insert some pictures of some of these are hard to see, but these little BB creams. Oh my goodness. I'll insert pictures. Here we go. Maybe back, I hold them back here. But these were what I basically was using every day. And let me just tell you, I mean, these are great. They're great. I'm saving them for summertime when I want like a less maintenance-y type of makeup. But I didn't know what I was doing. So I was taking these BB creams, like one or, you know, whichever one I used. I was then essentially going under my eye for a concealer with this whole foundation. The Superstay by Maybelline. The stick foundation. Yeah, I thought this was a concealer. I was just under my eyes. So foundation with foundation on top, and then I was topping it all with more foundation. With more foundation. I had no idea. And I'm like makeup's just cakey. It's what makeup does. Like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. So this is also probably great, but it probably isn't meant to be like literally 4 foundations on your face at once. Like, that's why there's translucent powders. That's why there's concealers. That's why there's foundations. So I was just throwing the whole kitchen sink on my face, and I was wondering why, you know, I just looked a hot mess for so long. But anyway, so I'm kind of showing you a little bit of the collection at the same time I'm showing you what I used to use. So anyway, this is what I was using right before I started actually looking into foundations, finding out what new products were good, what was recommended. And then I looked more into what was recommended for dry skin, which is what I have. So moving right along. Let's see. Oh, this is that NARS foundation that I mentioned. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. And I've heard Desi talk about this. Is like one of her favorites. I've heard other YouTubers talk about this and how much they love it. And I love it too. This is the one that's Salzburg. So this is my color. And this is the one I use basically as my guide for everything else. So what I use for the haul to color match myself on Sephora's site. This I really like. At first I didn't know if I liked it because I think I was using too much of it. You're only supposed to use it like a teeny bit, like maybe a pump or half a pump or something. But this really does go on well. I also like sometimes using this with like an oil underneath of it. And some foundations I found that like they actually work better for me that way. Especially if they were ones I bought that were like really matte when I didn't realize. I was like, oh, who wants to be shiny? But like when you're dry, you kind of do. Like you don't want to be cakey. So I didn't want to be cakey. I can't speak for anybody else. So, but this is pretty good. I've actually tested this as well. There are some that I haven't even gotten to test yet, and there's some that I've tested and I don't think I would like them. So we'll get to those. Another one that I really loved, and I believe this also comes in a blue version that's moisturizing or luminous. This is the matte version of the Infallible by L'Oreal. Love this. Like, no question, this is great. And I think this is also one that when I tested it, I tried it with the oil underneath and I really liked it. But I believe you can also use this, you know, well, I'm sure you can use it without oil. And I've also heard people use it kind of just around their nose, on their nose to kind of, if they want something dewy, but they want some like matte areas that get a little oily. I've heard using this kind of like as a spot foundation as well. I haven't tried it in that application yet. But I did love it when I used it all over my face. And I'm almost sure I used it with like an oil underneath, a facial oil. So moving right along, Another one that I have that I like, this was also recommended to me at Ulta by one of their beauty experts there. This is the Laura Geller Filter First Foundation. And the young lady that I spoke with, she said that she keeps this in her kit for all of her bridal makeup. She said it was her favorite foundation in the entire store. I'm in the shade Buff. I did test this out and I remember liking it, but I haven't had it in like my weekly stash yet where I've used it for 5 straight days. So I do want to do this, use this more. But from what I remember, it was great. Like it was perfect on my skin and it applied beautifully. And speaking of application, let me just quick segue. For application, I typically use this Morphe. It's the JH03. It's the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe brush set. When I was first looking into all this, I had like random brushes that I'd found from the drugstore or, you know, TJ Maxx, different things. I didn't know what brands were good. I just, well, hey, that's cool. That looks like it would work. But I didn't really know what I was doing. So when I saw that they had these 2 brush kits they had the face and the eye. I didn't get her big set. But I got one of each, the face and the eye one, because I was like, okay, here's someone that's like, these are the tools you're going to need when you don't know what tools you're going to need. So I use this every day for my foundation. It's like chibi and the bristles are firm, but they're soft, and you know, I just swirl it around. And I also have this Morphe beauty blender, which needs to be cleaned. I don't use a beauty blender that often. I want to like use one more and like learn more, but for me, I feel like so far in my experience, it's just kind of like taken off my product. I do use it like damp. I don't know if I'm doing it right because like I said, I'm new at this. But it's sort of just like, I don't know. I feel like this is just so much faster for me and I'm not messing with, oh no, I took too much off. Let me put it back on. Oh, let me blend it. Like, so I just use this, but this is a Morphe Beauty Blender. These are great. People rave about these as well. So I know they also have, oh, not Beauty Blender. I apologize. Beauty Sponge. Beauty Blender is actually a brand, and I think they're the best, but I've never tried them myself. That's just what I've heard. Anyway, so let's move on to some ones I'm not too keen on. This is the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation. I need more information with this. When I first tried it, I thought it was okay, but as you can see, the color in here is really like orangey. If you can kind of see, I don't even know if you can tell. But it's like pretty like orange. And again, I thought this was my color. I was like, great. I think this is like light medium. Mind you, I'm like buff in other stuff. So I didn't know what I was thinking. I thought I was tan AF, but apparently I was not. So yeah, but this is a serum foundation and I don't really have like beef with it necessarily other than it's the wrong color, but it's a little bit weird. However, I have like plans for this little guy. I actually bought 3 of them because I was like, OMG, Stila at TJ Maxx. Let me get all of them. I digress. So, anywho, I want to try this over the summer when, you know, I want to wear a little bit less makeup and my skin, you know, is a little bit, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it might work better for summer. I also think it might work well for all these foundations that I had shade matched to me in December and January. Hello, I'm gonna get tanner in June and July. So I think I might be able to use this kind of as like a foundation like deepener, like a kind of add a little bit of a tanner tone to some of my foundations so I don't have to buy a second foundation for summer months. That's my hope. We'll see if it actually works. And then these 2, I was not that interested in, and these are both highly regarded on from what I've seen on YouTube. They're beloved and they're drugstore, and that's great, and I'm sure these work for a lot of people. I don't know if these work for me. I don't know. I feel like I have tested both of these, but I haven't put them in for like a whole week yet because like I didn't love them when I tried them, so I haven't been like brave enough to like really go in there, like, you know, pull up my bootstraps and jump in there with these foundations. But the first one is the Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay. I know. This is like really like beloved, I feel like. It's super full coverage. It's like you're literally painting your face. Like open up a gallon of paint and get a big paintbrush and like put some paint on your face. It is so thick. I didn't like the way it wore. I felt like it like broke up around my nose and it didn't break up in a cute way. And it's so thick that when it did break up, it was just like, I don't know. I need more information on this one. So I'm nervous to test it for a week, but the girl's going to be brave. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. So I'm gonna learn today with this one. The other one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. And this one also is like raved about. And I think this does have a pump. Does it have a pump? Am I oh Lord, I'm throwing foundation everywhere. It has a little doe foot applicator in here. This one has a pump. But it doesn't help it. I mean, it helps it, but it doesn't help it in my heart. But this one, I kind of agree with the, like kind of the same thing as the other one, where I feel like the way it wore, it like broke up in ugly ways. Like it didn't wear in an attractive way. It looked kind of like messy, but maybe not, maybe not. Maybe it was where I could just pat it and it was okay. So again, I don't exactly, I'm not positive. I just remember when I did wear it, I wasn't like over the moon. But maybe if I test it for a week and figure out different ways to use it, like then I won't have wasted this money. Otherwise, I believe one of my girlfriends that I love would actually work. I know she uses this every day and loves it. So this is going right to her if it doesn't work, and it's almost a full bottle. And then same thing with this one. If she finds that she likes this full coverage, she already had tested out my Buff foundation and it worked great on her. So I'm sure that these colors will work as well. So that'll be the plan for these guys. And then last but not least for my current collection, I have these two. One is this Pure Liquid Veil 4-in-1 Spray Foundation, and it's infused with liquid crystals. I haven't tried this yet. I found this at Marshall's. It's like a little spray can. So apparently you just like spray it on your face. You like it right in your eyeball. No, you spray it on your hand and you can blot it. Or I think you can like spray it on a beauty blender or like directly on your brush. So you have some options with this. I'm super excited to try this. I don't know if the color is totally right. It might be a little warmer. It might be perfect for summer. But I was excited to find this. It's a funky little spray can product and I was excited to try that. And I'll do so. And then the last one for my current collection is this Bare Minerals Bare Pro. I found this one at TJ Maxx. And this is in the color Cashmere. And when I looked online, I think this looked like it would match well. So we'll try it. And it's performance wear, which to me says it's probably going to stay in place, which means it might be a little drying. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, so I'm excited to try this one too. I'll be putting these in different Shop My Stashes. And that way I can kind of give you guys the rundown on what I think about them. But now the part that I've been waiting for, and I just want to tell you guys, like, this is serious love. And sorry to keep throwing stuff all over the place. Well, all over my floor. I keep ducking and grabbing stuff. But I just want to kind of tell you that I love you and show you that I love you. And because I've had to wait since last like Wednesday. Well, that was like 4 days ago, I think. What day is it? Saturday? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, 4 days ago. I got this from Sephora, and I have waited until I could sit down and open these with you guys because I was so happy. Like, girls moving on up a little bit. With all my little drugstore foundations, which I love and are great and I'm grateful for, and I'm not trying to spend this kind of money all the time, but like, I wanted to also get an idea of what other foundations were like that were a little bit more expensive. You know, are they worth the money? You know, are these going to be my holy grails, or is that fabulous Fit Me foundation going to be my holy grail? That one is like that hitter. I really like it. Anyway, so let's get into the Sephora haul. And I think I have everything here on my lap. So the first one I have is the Too Faced Born This Way. And I've heard so many good things about this foundation on YouTube. People seem to really like it. I also have the Born This Way concealer. I haven't tried it yet. And I also have the Born This Way setting powder. That was one of the very first setting powders I bought. It seemed like it was getting good reviews, but I don't even know. I wasn't even looking at current videos. Like, that's how completely layman I was. I was just grabbing videos like, this looks interesting. And I wasn't like looking at, they were from 2012 or 2016 and maybe new things had come out or different things. So I bought that setting powder. So I'm kind of excited to get to know that a little bit better, to use it more. Like I said, I'm trying to get through that one older translucent one before I start like really getting into some other ones. I want to try to, you know, get rid of the empties. But anyway, so here's the little box. Here's the foundation. on the floor. So this is the Born This Way foundation, and my color is Swan, and I use the Sephora algorithm to choose this. So we'll test this out. The next one I got, and this is how you can tell it's bougie, because wait till you see how small this little foundation is. This giant box. So this is by Jouer, and this is the Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. And if we open up the little box, like look at this big box, look at this itty bitty. I mean, can we see like wastefulness? Like, hello, the trees that got cut down to house this little foundation are like, really, really? But it keeps it safe. And nothing against them. I haven't even tried this product yet. I was just like, really? But yeah, so this is their Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. So I'm excited to try that. And thirdly, we have the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. And this one is a lot of people's like kind of OG product. It's not mine because this is the first Giorgio Armani thing I've ever owned in my life. I'm very excited. But this is the Luminous Silk, and I am in the color 2. I don't know what this color is, but it's color 2 is the one that matched with me for with my NARS, this guy. Using him, they led me to him, this guy. So, yeah, so Giorgio Armani is the next one. And then we have the Dior Backstage, and I'm in 2W Warm for this one. And she looks like this. I don't know why some of them are boys and some of them are girls, but I'm just going with it as the spirit moves me. So this is the little Dior Backstage. I'm so excited to try all these, but I haven't even gotten to touch them or swatch them or anything because I want to save them to do it with you guys. So that's just my style. Oh, and then, you know, this little guy. So I was able to, I think it was like if you spent like $35, you could like enter this little code and get like one of a couple different things. I picked this, which is the Dior, let's see, 24-hour wear high perfection skin caring foundation with sunscreen in 2N. So I don't know if this will, it's the Forever. It's a neutral, which is good, because that's what I am. But it's just a little baby one. Like, hey girl, hey. Little baby John. I mean, this is like my hand, which is not very big. It looks kind of big on camera for some reason, but it's not. But it's like the size of my pinky, pretty much in width and height. So it's just a little guy, but I'm not mad at him. You know, I'll get to try him basically for free and see if I like this little guy. So he's happy. Anywho, next we have I'm just throwing stuff all over the floor with abandon. So anyway, this is the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation Stick. And this one I have seen so many people rave about. Now the only stick foundation I have is that little Super Stay one, which I'm not mad at. It got me through. I thought I was like a hot mess and didn't know what I was doing. And so many people, these little old school guys that I used to use, I mean, people were like, these are actually good products. So I'm like, yay, like at least I wasn't a complete idiot. Like, thank God. Like I got something slightly right a little bit, but I've heard so many good things about this Hourglass stick foundation, and it's not, I don't think, a lot of product. I don't even want to roll it all the way up, but it looks like that. But I'm super excited to try this. I know they just came out with their liquid foundation. Oh God. Oh, how do I get this? There we go. Okay. I was like, how do I get this back on? Their liquid foundation, I think, just dropped like yesterday. And you know, I was thinking about it, but I talked to one of my girlfriends and she's like, girl, I talked to this girl at Sephora and she's like, I don't know if you'll like this. I don't know if it'll be right for your skin. So I'm like, oh, and she's tried too. So I'm like, let me do some more research. And I mean, obviously I don't need to buy that right now. What I need to do is put down my wallet and keep it in my purse, which I will be doing. But I wanted to get myself together with some good things to try and then, you know, see how they work. But anyway, Hourglass. So we're going to try this. And we have 2 left only. This is the Laura Mercier, which I was really, really interested in. I heard really good things about this as well. The Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. So this is, they have a like a matte one for dry skin. And this is the one for like I'm sorry, a matte for oily skin. And this is the like luminous one that would help dry skin, I would assume. Or people that just want luminosity, you know, because who knows. And so I'm excited to try that. Oh, and my color is, and this one is Shell. And did I miss this one? My color is Alabaster in this guy. And in the Dior, it is 2W, Warm. I think I already told you that one. Anywho, last but not least, this is the one I was the most excited about because my favorite little Lyra Makeup Loves, she talked about the Touche Éclat Yves Saint Laurent foundation and how much she loved it. And I was like, then let me try it because I'm excited. So some YSL Touche Éclat, and it's the all-in-one glow. And it says that it's going to be like a fresh, dewy look. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, so like straight up, I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of testing to do, a lot of reporting back to do. But I hope that this was fun for you guys. I hope that some of these tips helped you so that you can avoid some of the debacles I found myself in. You know, just checking out, you know, figuring out your, oh, I actually have more tips. I have more tips. So if you're like, girl, I have no idea. Like, how am I supposed to know any of this stuff? How do I know if I have oily skin or dry skin or combination skin or anything like that? I got you. So what you want to do, this is what I heard, you can either go to your doctor or like your esthetician and ask. That's, again, ask a professional. That's one way you can do it. But another way you can do it without doing all that extra stuff, wash your face at night and don't put anything on your face. Don't put any night cream, nothing. Just clean skin, go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, look at your face. If you wake up, and this I learned from another channel, I wish I could remember, but it was like a quick tip about learning about your skincare. And if I can find it, I'll link it below. But she talked about how you basically look at your face in the morning, and if you see oil collecting around your T-zone, so your forehead, your nose, you know, around your cheeks here and stuff like that, you have oily skin. If you wake up and your face feels fine, you look kind of like you got a good night's rest, your face seems normal, it doesn't feel tight, it doesn't feel dry, you don't see oil spots, you have normal skin. And if you wake up and your skin is kind of like tight feeling, where you're like, you know, like get some like chapstick on and everything else, girl, you're with me in the dry girl category. Oh, at least in the wintertime, I'm like so dry. My hands look like alligators. So yeah, I'm dry skin all the way. Oh, and if you wake up and your skin is tight and stuff, but you also have a lot of redness and it feels a little like, I don't know if she said like a little like agitated, you might have sensitive dry skin. So those are some good little tips. But anyway, before I talk your ear off, I wanted to just share those fun foundation things with you. I wanted to show you my current foundation collection, which is, like I said, mostly drugstore and like two, well, I guess technically like 5 like higher end, but 3 of them were TJ Maxx and 2 of them I bought like at Ulta full price. So that was my collection. And then I just added 1, 2, on the floor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a baby, and a little baby. So 7 adults of the more luxury brands, and that way I can kind of test them and see how they work and see what's up, see what the tea is on those. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys had a great time. Well, geez, a great day, a better week than I did, I hope. Oh, it was a rough week. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. I hope that this is a much more, you know, enjoyable experience for you when I'm not like, hi, here I am in my own face with my phone. So, and I hope you guys dug the little fun opening I have. Getting Frenchy. All right, guys, till the next one, I will talk to you guys soon. And thanks again for tuning in. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.